Hello everyone, welcome to segment 2 of Synchronous Sessions, a series of segments in which we dive into the ins and outs of hosting live online sessions in remote instruction. This segment is focused on setup and security considerations, really helping you to be prepared for whatever you're going to do. Sometimes with all the options and features, it may feel like you're getting hit by a high-powered hair dryer like the woman in this picture. Everything's crazy and wild. But with a little time, maybe a comb and some tools, you'll be prepared to look your best like RuPaul here, ready to hit the runway. So some of the things we're going to look at include knowing your platform, what are the options available for you, preparing yourself and your attendees, what are the things that you can do ahead of time, and then setting those expectations for those who are going to be in attendance and giving them guidance so that you can prevent problems. So some of the things to think about that you may have experienced already include statements like this: the link didn't work, someone I didn't know joined or tried to join, I couldn't get in, the audio was choppy, students kept unmuting, sharing screens, making funny faces, doing all kinds of weird stuff. Or so and so's dad walked through in his undies. All of these things could be real possibilities. So we want to try to prevent them if possible with things like scheduling your links properly, checking them twice, using secure settings, making sure you account for different accounts. So if a parent wants to get in with a personal Gmail or a student needs to get in with a personal Gmail, how are you going to be able to do that? How can you give tips for quality so that people can actually hear and see you as needed and so that you can be seen and heard? Also, setting those expectations and using your platform controls to prevent some of that, unwanted behavior from students. And then for the undies thing, like you give suggestions and then hope things like that just don't happen and ruin your whole event. So to look at those things, if you go to our Synchronous Sessions virtual support page in the Remote Instruction Bootcamp site, you can go down to our Setup and Security section, and from there, there's a link to our key considerations and resources. So when you get into that doc, it shows our considerations. I'm going to start with this recommended practices doc. In here, there's a number of recommendations that you can use to think through your preparation and even your facilitation of your meetings. I'm going to focus mostly on two here for this segment. So when you go to that Google Meet doc, it shows you how you can set up your Google Classroom link so that only students will be able to get into your Meet room when you are there and when you want them to be. So there's different options for that and for inviting external participants like parents when you want them to get in. There's also ideas for interacting with participants and how you can mute or remove participants. Now, Google Meet doesn't have as robust of features for controlling your participants' controls, like keeping them muted or not allowing them to use video, but you are able to kick them out as if you needed, or mute them if they're unable to mute themselves. So there's a lot of things here that you could find useful. But also, if you're using Zoom, this page walks you through how to set up your secure room and tips for keeping unwanted customers out and making sure that those who want to be in can be in, as well as things that you can do to lock down the chat, remove things, or remove people. So this basically walks you through all those options for keeping things safe and orderly in your meeting. I'll let you go through based on what's most useful for you. This also includes accessibility considerations. So if you have students that might need accommodations, this shows you how to do things like closed captioning. And there's also netiquette tips, sentence stems that might be helpful, and expectations and norms that you could use for those who are attending. Um, this is just a direct link to that Google Meet security guide. And in terms of a better quality online experience, this is something that you can share with students, follow yourself, and or parents. And it includes things like not using HD video so that you're not taking so much of your bandwidth, turning off your video if you have a bad connection, sitting close to your router So in your house, the closer you are to your router, the better connection you're going to have. And closing unwanted applications on your computer, making sure people aren't watching YouTube, Netflix, or playing Xbox while you're trying to have an online meeting. So anything you can do to help them know what to do and practice yourself will result in a better experience for everybody involved. And I included a couple different documents here for expectations, in addition to the one shared in the recommended practices doc. So if you want to load those, copy and paste, that will help you to design your own guide, which is part of your task. So your task for this segment is to create or refine a guide that you will use when conducting synchronous meetings with students or parents. So think about all the things that you want to include in terms of um, proper behavior, setting up a secure meeting, and or having a quality experience, and get that ready so that when you're wanting to or needing to do these synchronous sessions come next year, you'll be that much more prepared. Please paste that link in segment 2 of synchronous sessions on your remote instruction bootcamp checklist doc. So if you're having any questions or want me to look at anything, you can reach out to me and I'd be glad to get back to you. And now you can get to work. Thanks.